Welcome to WTTS In Conversation, supported by Technology Recyclers. I'm Matt Pilser. Singer-songwriter Lucy Dacus is on tour. She stopped by Indy on February 12th. It was a unique show in that she had just suffered a herniated disc and played the show while laying on a couch. I'm sorry to say that she and I talked before this happened, so we didn't talk about it. But we did speak after she had played a few of the dates on this current tour, so she had some good perspective on post-pandemic indoor concerts.
And I also have a theory that wearing masks makes everybody feel like they can sing louder and like be more excited because your identity is a little bit obfuscated. So I think the masks make it a better show.
And now, WTTS In Conversation with Lucy Dacus. So, where are you exactly in the world right now?
I am in California, just like kind of holed up doing some work stuff.
Cool. All right. That sounds a little secretive. Not that you need to like reveal or anything like that, but is it something that's coming?
I mean, hopefully one day. It's a lot of like kind of bits here and there and like other people's stuff, and some of it's boring, some of it's very fun.
Right. Well, it's been, I guess, 2.5 years since you finished working on home video. I mean, it came out last year, but it was 2019 when you finished it?
Yeah, that's so wild to think about.
Isn't it?
Well, the last day of recording was in March 2020. Yeah, like I think 10 days before lockdown, maybe even just a week.
So you didn't finish because things were shutting down. You finished because you were finished.
We were just done. Yeah, most of it was done August of 2019, but then we had kind of like a day here or there over the next couple months to do like, background vocals, or let's put a bass synth on this song, or let's try a shaker. So yeah, like the last day, I think we did thumbs, and that's it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's a big deal.
We just put like the wind sound on thumbs.
Okay.
And it was done. Yeah.
Oh, how cool. All right. I'm glad to know that detail. Okay. So it came out in June of 2021. Had lockdown, COVID, everything not happened, would it have been a hell of a lot sooner than that?
Yeah. I wanted it to come out fall of 2020.
Yeah.
So pushing it was just, I guess, to get stuff done after adjusting to like everybody working from home, and we were mixing remotely, and I don't know, it worked out fine. Every record I've made, I've had to wait at least 1 year before it came out. So I kind of like am used to that time of kind of just reflecting on the thing itself. That's not the worst thing that happened in 2020.
To say the least. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, I don't know, that in mind, I've talked to some artists who they either finished the album just before lockdown or they had the album out like just before, if not like a month or so before everything changed. There's something about finishing something just before you can't do anything about said something. And when you're a touring musician and you finish and you're like, all right, well, now we go do the tour thing. And then it doesn't happen. How does that mess up your brain?
I mean, it was really kind of sad. I felt sad every day that we put out a single, because usually I'd do something and I'd just be like, oh, it went up and it's just on my little phone, and like, I guess I have laundry to do. Like, it just didn't feel like I was like doing chores when everything was happening.
Yeah.
That like I feel like I'm a really like physical person. Like I want my outside world to match my inside world. So when I'm excited, I want to go like do something and like celebrate. And it just felt like that wasn't an option, which is true. It was not an option. And like every other record, I've had like a show the night of release, and I just like had a party with my roommates and a couple of friends, and that was fun. But getting to play shows has felt like amazing. Like I've really realized how much I've missed it, and it's kind of like just the best moments of my life, pretty much, like being on stage with the band.
Well, okay, let's get to that. I'm sure you're being asked this a lot, but I mean, feels good to get out and play, like you said, but what else is on your mind?
I mean, I'm still like, if the vibes are good, It's cool.
Doesn't
The
matter.
show's selling fine, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that the people that do show up, I think I've noticed like people have been so starved for that type of communing. I tried to think of a less like hippy dippy word to say, but hanging out. People have been starved for that type of hanging
Just
out.
hanging out, exactly.
Just hanging out. And I also have a theory that wearing masks makes everybody feel like they can sing louder and like be more excited because your identity is a little bit obfuscated. So I think the masks make it a better show. Like
It's like putting on a
I don't
mascot
know.
suit.
A mascot. Everybody's in. That sounds like a nightmare. Everybody in mascot suits.
Well, I mean, depending on your proclivities, but
True.
I mean, I know that the protocols for you and the band and the team have got to be crazy. I mean, are you able to hang out or go out with the band when you come to a town? You can't do anything, can you?
We actually like re-upped our. We had really strict policies last tour, and one of our members still got COVID. We have no idea how. None of the rest of us did, even though we're all on the bus. So it was a really mild case, but still we had to cancel shows. So this time around, it's even more strict. Like we're not allowed to see anybody, like even our families. Like when they come to shows, like we have a 10-minute outdoor masked 6 foot away limit on social interactions. So
no meet and greets.
No meet and greets, but I honestly don't care as long as we get to play shows. Like it doesn't sound fun, but we get to do something else fun if we follow all the rules. And yeah, it's like new for us to be having a bus. Like I never thought we'd get to that level. And like the band, we're probably gonna like play games and we'll figure out some way to have fun, even though we can only be on the bus and in the venue.
And like you said, there's got to be something about playing for a hungrier audience that there's kind of a ballast to that. It balances things.
Yeah. Also, these songs are fun to play. Like,
well, yeah,
the show is more fun just because this record's really fun. And it's cool, hearing people sing along. That is probably the coolest thing that happens to me, is like having people sing along to the songs. So yeah, I don't want to complain, basically.
We'll be right back with more of my talk with singer-songwriter Lucy Dacus. WTTS In Conversation is supported by Technology Recyclers. What happens to your obsolete electronics? It's estimated that only 18% of all electronic waste is properly recycled globally. This harms the environment, wastes natural resources, and pollutes our landfills. You should be recycling your computers and electronics, and Technology Recyclers has the solution. With their R2 certification, they guarantee 100% data destruction. Their state-of-the-art shredding and separation system ensures nothing ends up in landfills. They're Hoosier veteran-owned and always free to you and your company. Visit Technology Recyclers on the web. And now, Lucy Dacus. You get asked a lot about your creative process, your songwriting process. And I talk to songwriters about that, but it's hard to gauge sometimes, whether artists are into it or not. We can go in that direction. We can go elsewhere. You know what I mean? Like some songwriters want the songs to speak for themselves. And I get that. Some songwriters don't mind talking it out. You're really polite. You're really genuine in interviews that I've heard. It's
cool.
And process is enigmatic sometimes, and a lot of time can be spent talking about it or around it. And, whether or not that benefits whoever's listening to this right now is a different question. I want to benefit them, but Lucy, I want this short talk to benefit you too. So where do you want to go on that?
Oh, I mean, take me anywhere. I think that's actually kind of a cool point. I'd never thought about, because yeah, I get asked about process quite a bit. It doesn't bother me. But I'm like, just kind of thinking about, is it because listeners want to know?
I think it's just
why do people want to know? Like,
I think it's something that interviewers feel like they need to ask about. You know what I mean?
Well, it's often interesting because I think everyone thinks their own process is boring, but I find other people's processes fascinating.
The latter,
like
yeah.
Yeah, when I talk about my own stuff, I'm like, I take a walk and I'm singing to myself and I write all the lyrics and then I get home and I pick up the guitar and I figure out the chords. But then other people are like, wait, you don't write the music first? And I'm like, yeah, duh. And when people write the music first, I'm like, how do you retrofit your ideas into the form of the music? And I guess there's a reason why people return to it, because it's completely unmappable why people make things the way that they do. Like, I guess for me, like, I want to be communicating clearly, and so I do like the lyrics first, because I think that they should be able to survive on a page, like without music as prose, and still be understandable. I feel like the music should be reactive to the meaning of the song.
Interesting.
But not everybody thinks that, and that's cool. That's why there's so much different sounding music.
That's why there can be too.
Yeah.
For that matter. And when you listen to music, are you a lyrics person? Are you a music person? I'm sure you're a bit of both, but if there is a weight to it.
I've always thought I was a lyrics person, and I think that I am, but then I have been reflecting on some of my favorite bands and like favorite songs, and I'm like, wait, I don't know what they're saying. Like, I love The Cure, and I love Broken Social Scene, and I love Yola Tango, and all those bands have songs with great lyrics, but they also have songs that I'm like, I'm humming along instead of singing along, you know? So I don't think I have like a certain way that I listen to things. I think that the music that you like has way more to do with your surroundings when you hear it, like the circumstance upon listening. Like if you're in a car with your friends, or if you're in bed alone, or whatever, like I think that the atmosphere really dictates your connection to something.
Where have you been told your music fits as far as atmospherically? You know, is it a drive along the coast? Is it a night drive? What is it?
I think like walking alone is probably the best way. Just like going on a 48-minute walk and listening to the whole thing, which is cool because that is where I write usually, is like on a walk by myself. So yeah, that'd be my top recommendation.
Okay. Sunlight, cloudy, warm, cold. Let's get a little more specific here.
Interesting.
We might be getting into the weeds here. I know.
I know, but like I did come up with the answer so fast, but then I was like, wait, should I say that, or is that too corny? Do you know that time, like early fall, when the air just smells a certain way, like far away, somebody has like a fire and they're like burning leaves or something?
Mm-hmm. That's the beginning of the sweet decay.
Yes. That's probably it too, is like you're smelling the leaves decaying, but it's still kind of warm and chilly. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's the best time to listen to my music, but it is my favorite time to walk around. And I mean, that will like make me cry. Just like being alone, getting like a big hit of that type of air. If the sun's in the right place, it's over for me. I am like defenseless against that particular vibe.
You're a reader. What or who do you gravitate toward where that's concerned?
I think James Blake. I just said James Blake. James Baldwin. It's fun. I was listening to James Blake before we got on this call, but James Baldwin is just one of the best who ever did it. Who the hell else? I mean, I love Joan Didion and have felt very sad about her passing, and just started the White Album. I think probably I've read about half her books, and I'm glad that there's another half to get to. I want to pick like somebody recent, somebody who's making work now. There's this poet, Ada Limon, who I think is awesome. Let me think. Are there any Indiana authors that I
You read Vonnegut?
Yeah, Vonnegut's great.
Yeah.
He's Indiana?
Yep.
Yeah, Vonnegut rocks. I was going to say Garth Greenwell, but he's Kentucky. But he's good, another author I really love. Yeah.
What are you, as we kind of wrap up here, what are you thankful for these days? I mean, what's still beautiful about the world right now? I feel like your bittersweet lens is one that I just want to spend a good amount of time looking through. Like, it'll show you what's real, but it also puts halos around what's there to appreciate. You know what I mean? Like, so what are you, what do you see now that's really worth appreciating?
That was so poetic. And what a good question. I feel like I was recently talking to a friend about this. Like, I've always, or not always, in the past couple of years, I've had this mantra of like, joy is not a luxury. Like, it's not,
It's afforded to everybody, or it should be.
it is something essential to life. I've been lumping in also like fun is not a luxury. Fun is not frivolous. Like, life should have a lot of fun within it. It's not something to feel guilty about. Like, even especially in times when it feels like grief is an imperative, or like, I don't know, we're all coping with mass grief right now, and like it can feel incongruous to like feel joy or have fun, but I think that like any opportunity to let that into your life is actually one you ought to take. So, yeah, just trying to like feel less complicated about feeling good. So yeah, joy and fun. Good stuff.
I think a lot of people wrestle with that, and I think a lot of people are wrestling with that right now.
Mhm.
When we are so starved for the kind of fun we used to have, and
Yeah.
having it can make you feel guilty. It's a good message. I
Yeah.
appreciate that, Lucy. Thank you so much for your
Yay.
time.
Yeah, same to you.
This has been WTTS In Conversation with support from Technology Recyclers. Subscribe to this podcast and find more information at WTTSFM.com. I'm Matt Pelser. Thanks for listening.